Make sure that I'm okay. There you go. All right. So I just want to welcome Lacy Larsen. A lot of you, actually a few of you are probably already working with her. Yeah. And I want to make sure, Lacy, that I get your title right.
I am.
The Northeastern Associate Assistant Director of Sales.
Yep.
So we're very honored and excited to have you. And Lacy did ask me about some specific maybe topics that I felt like I would love for her to share her area of expertise on, and some specific topics that I feel like as a team, as a whole, maybe we have challenges with. And the two that I feel are very consistent, which I'm sure it's across the board with a lot of teams, have been like Success Club, recruiting, and social media. And the social media piece of it, I feel like is so linked to everything else. And although I have a lot of my rockstar leaders on here, I feel like hopefully we'll get the others to listen to the recording. but I feel like it doesn't matter, as much as we may think that we know and we have a good grasp of a particular concept, there's always room for growth. There's always something new that we can learn. So take it away, Lacy. Thank you so much.
Perfect. Okay, guys, I'm so excited to be here. And I recognize a bunch of your faces. And so I've met Denise in person. That was so much fun at NLC in January. It was so awesome seeing you guys. Make that be one of your goals, to be there. Oh my heavens, that event, NLC, New Leadership Conference, is unbelievable. It is something that I was like, messaging all my diamonds, and I'm like, you guys, you have to be here next year because it's so beneficial. It's so great. It's a lot more like intimate because there's not as many people, and it's such a great leadership conference. So make that be one of your goals. So like Denise said, my name's Lacy Larsen. I work with all of the diamonds, 1 and 2 stars in the Northeast. And you guys, I love working with you all. Like, coaches are my favorite people ever. You guys are just out there changing lives. Like, I loved more than anything what Carl on his pop-up surge, where he said, you guys, what the crap is this obesity number going up and up and up? He's like, why is it trending up? He goes, there's 460,000 of us. He's like, those people need us. And so, you guys, everyone here is about helping people get results. Totally about helping people get results. And so, you guys, when we talk about like recruiting and about Success Club and all that kind of stuff and on social media, like I always just say, you guys, keep it so basic and so simple and so easy. This is what I, with all my coaches, I say, you guys think of your business like a tree. Think of your business like a tree. The roots of that tree need to be strong. The roots of that tree is your recruiting. But I don't like to call it recruiting. I say, everyone, write the word recruiting down, then put a big, huge X through it, and put building relationships of trust. All right? Building relationships of trust. That is what your roots are of your tree. So as long as those roots are strong, so the roots of the tree are your building relationships of trust. The branches of the tree are your coaches. The fruit of your tree is like your recognition, your ranking advancements, your Success Club parties, the trips, all that kind of stuff. I always tell coaches, when that storm comes, because it's not if, it's when that storm comes, as long as your roots are strong and they're deep, because you've been constantly, every single day, building relationships with trust. So you guys, just like Carl says, the first vital behavior is invite. But it's not invite. It's attract people. Connect with them. Then when the time is right, invite them. You guys, the only way you're going to be able to attract people is through your social media posts. Like, you've got to be showing up in your business every single day. Life, there is highs and lows in life all the time. Because if you're not posting on social media what's going on and how you're like overcoming this or overcoming that, or this trial has come into your life and you're dealing with it this way rather than a way that you used to, like, you guys, Beachbody has it figured out because they get people to change from the inside out. Like, holy smokes. They get people to change. What's between these two ears is the biggest asset or the biggest liability. You guys, your mind can be the biggest asset or the biggest liability. And that personal development is so huge and so key. Like, You guys, all your posts are so amazing. I see so many coaches going through some really hard things, but I'm like, they are still showing up every single day. They are still pushing play. They are still inviting people. They are still forming relationships. They are still building relationships with trust. I'm like, and those coaches are the ones whose business succeed. They totally do. I always say this is one of my favorite sayings. I say, successful people just do the basics better. I'm going to say that again. Successful people just do the basics better. And so you guys are your Facebook page or your like page or whatever, your social media, that is like the opening. That's your store. That's like your storefront. Like if your store is closed, you're not posting, you're not attracting people, no one's coming for business. If your store is closed, people are just going to walk by your shop, So in social media, through the good times, through the bad times, through the hard times, through the crap times, through the times where you just want to shut off, you guys, unless you're sharing your story, your trials, your hardships, your accomplishments, unless you're sharing those things, people are not going to know. They're not going to be able to relate to you. And so I'm like, you guys, sharing is so huge. Showing up every single day is so huge. Not only posting about Beachbody, doing your workouts, eating healthy, that kind of journey, but posting about your life, posting about things that are going on. I cannot believe how many coaches say, I'm a completely different person. I'm a completely different mom, completely different sister, aunt, like in their professional job, like completely different friend because of Beachbody. You guys, I swear that personal development is so huge and it is so key. If you think you're going to slide by without doing that, I promise you guys, think again. Think again. It's so huge. I'm reading The Miracle Morning by Hal Elrod, and he says, everyone wants level 10 success in their, physical transformation, in their business, in their financial, they want level 10 success in every aspect of their life. But they're only willing to put in maybe a level 2 into themselves. And he goes, that's the key. He's like, you got to put a level 10 into yourself in order to get a level 10 of all these other areas. So that personal development is huge, you guys. So make sure you are showing up every single day, posting every single day, those 3 to 5 times. Because a lot of coaches say, but I've already shared my story, Lacy. I just feel like I'm a broken record. And I'm like, okay. I'm like, yeah, you've shared your story. And people who are already in contact with you, people you've already built a relationship with, yes, they know. But those people that you are adding every single day, those people you are connecting with, those new ones, they don't have a clue of what your story is, what your why is. So you know what? You might sound like a broken record to yourself, but you're not, because those people, oops. Oh shoot, her battery's low. I was thinking that I was talking about my battery. But those people, you guys, they're new. They're just for the first time seeing what you're all about. Keep that shop open. Keep your social media open. So every single day you are showing up, posting 3 to 5 times every single day. That is attracting those people. So then you're able to connect with them. Then you'll be able to invite them. All right. You guys, I like to talk about the secret sauce. The secret sauce of this business. Every top coach, when they're training, they're like, stick around for the whole training and I will tell you the secret sauce. Every single one of them says, there is no secret sauce. So you guys, those 4 vital behaviors are so huge. We always have trainings in the Northeast with top coaches, with 12-star, 15-star, just top coaches in the network. And I always tell my coaches, I'm like, you guys make sure to get on this training. We're going to have a top coach presenting on, one of the top coaches was going to present on a live power hour. So my coaches were so excited. They're like, oh my gosh, I can't believe she's going to do a live power hour with us. She's going to tell us exactly what she does and show us exactly what she does. And we're going to be able to see her. And so they all got on and she says, all right, for the next 10 minutes, we're going to, add new friends. For the next 10 minutes, we're going to connect with people. For the next 10 minutes. And she was doing all these basic things. And I had all my coaches just message me saying, this is all she does? Are you serious? That's what she does in her power hour? And I was always like, yes, you guys, there is no secret sauce. Like I said, successful people just do the basics better. They do. Showing up every single day. Melanie Metro, the #1 coach in the network, she was at NLC. And do you remember Denise when she goes, you guys, in the beginning, she says, not a single person showed up to my team calls. Not a single person showed up to my sneak peeks. Not a single person, no one showed up to anything of hers. But she says, you know what? She says, I did. She says, I was consistent. I showed up every single time. She goes, so that made me grow as a leader because I came prepared to do my thing. And you guys, look at where she is now. She is probably the most consistent person on the planet. You can totally tell exactly her next move. You know, at this specific time, she's going to do this. At this. Like, she is so consistent. She's shown up every single day, whether she's wanted to or not. It is so crazy. So that is one thing you're going to hear, consistency. That is the word you will hear the most in this business. You guys, I like to talk about self-disciplines of leadership. All right. Discipline number 1 is being completely committed to a desirable outcome. We always say, okay, are you committed to achieving that goal, or are you just interested in achieving that goal? Because if you are committed, you will find a way to make it happen. If you are fully committed, you're not just one foot in, one foot out. Like, if you are fully committed, not just dipping your toe in the water, not just dipping your foot, I'm like, if you're completely committed, I'm like, dive in head first with your clothes on. I'm like, be completely committed to that desirable outcome and you'll achieve it. If you're just interested and you'll find the time when it's convenient, you'll never find the time. So you guys, being completely committed is so huge. It's so key. The second one is controlling the controllable. I have so many of my coaches that will talk and they're like, oh, I'm so frustrated with so-and-so. She just won't do this. She just won't do that. And she has so much potential. And I'm like, you guys, don't waste your time on trying to make your goals be someone else's. I'm like, the only thing you can control is yourself. One of my favorite quotes ever is, think of how hard it is to change yourself, and then you'll realize what little chance you have in changing someone else. I love that. Like, think of how hard it is to change yourself. And you guys, it's hard. Think of when you're trying to break a bad habit or trying to break a habit that you don't like. Think of when you're trying to change yourself. It's hard. So then you'll realize what little chance you have in changing someone else. Like, you have 0 chance. I always say you have negative chance. But the way you can help them the most, like coaches always say, how can I help my team hit Success Club? How can I help my team reach out and build relationships to recruit? And I say the way you can help them the most is by doing those things you're asking them to do. But I always say, but you're the leader. I'm like, if you're asking them to hit Success Club 5, you hit Success Club 10. If you're asking them to, constantly be building relationships of trust to bring those people in, if you're having them recruit 3 to 5 coaches per month, I'm like, you recruit more 5 to 7. I'm like, always go a little bit above and beyond what you're asking them to do because you're the leader. All right. You guys, another thing is, if you haven't seen Jeff Hill's, we went live with him on Thursday last week. Wasn't it the most amazing, most inspiring, awesome message ever? You guys,
I shared it. I was on, and then I ended up sharing it on our team page. So I think most of us saw it. It was awesome.
It was so amazing, you guys. And I loved how, those people, it's like, get off the escalator. Like, they were stuck. Like, hello, we're stuck on an escalator. Like, sometimes, like he said, he's like, the answer is right in front of you. He's like, and I loved how he's like, push everything aside. He goes, and get back to that one thing. Get back to that one thing that you are amazing at and do extremely well. Because I loved how he talked about, listen, you guys, these last couple of months, people have been saying, oh my gosh, what's going on? I'm struggling in my business. It's so hard. And I'm like, okay, you guys, focus on what made this business and what made this company successful. If you can get people getting either a physical, an emotional, a spiritual, or a mental transformation, not everyone needs physical transformations. Sometimes people just need that mental transformation where it completely changes their outlook on life. I'm like, if you can get someone to have that transformation, they are golden. They are so passionate about the programs, about the accountability groups, about the personal development. They are so passionate about the vital behaviors. They know that those work. If you can get someone to have that transformation, you guys, they are golden because they want to share it with the world. If you're just trying to get people in as fast as you can and just not setting them up for success, not putting them through any kind of training, bring those people in, set them up for success. All right. Otherwise, you're just going to be turning your wheels. So, you guys, those challenge groups are amazing. I say, listen, I see so many coach sneak peeks. And I'm like, what about a sneak peek into a challenge group so that people know what they are? What about those? Because the challenge groups, 71% of all coaches were challengers first. So you guys, you have that huge market. If you are true, get back to the basics of, we are helping people get results. Like Jeff Hill, he hit so hard on that. He's like, guys, we've got the most amazing products in the world. We've got the best fitness products in the world. We've got the most amazing coaches in the world. Help people get those results. Get them to go through that transformation. I always say coaches, they kind of remind me of like maybe like a cookie where, you know, you've got the cookie dough, you've made these cookies, you're going to put them into the oven, and maybe you don't have enough time to like let them cook all the way. Like maybe you don't have time. You've got to get something going. So you pull them out early. They're all doughy. They're kind of like just they didn't set well. I'm like, think of that as like coaches. I'm like, that coach needs to be fully baked. I always tell coaches, if you're struggling, start a program from start to finish. Like when you start struggling, when you stop pushing play, when you stop drinking your shake, when you stop doing all these basic things, start doing a program and do it from start to finish. All right. And that will help light that fire within inside of you like nothing else. All of a sudden you start showing up every single day. All right. Start showing up, start doing your posts every single day, start reaching out every single day. Then all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, I remember why I love this so much, why I'm so passionate about these programs, these accountability groups, these nutrition things. Like you will remember why you're so passionate about it. And you start sharing, and it naturally starts happening. You want everyone else to feel as good as you. So you guys don't pull those coaches out before they are like fully baked. Don't leave them all gooey and, you know, doughy. Let them fully bake and have that transformation. It's so true. Back to the basics, you guys. And that's what I think we've seen across the board that coaches were getting to like, well, I'll have talks with my coaches and I'm like, all right, so what are you doing? Like, well, I've been doing this and I've been doing this and this and this and this. And I'm like, okay, well, what about the basic things? Like, what about the four vital behaviors? Well, and I'm like, okay, if you're not doing those, if you don't have those basic things done, all this other fluff is not going to do you any good. You got to have those basic things that you're doing. Those four vital behaviors are vital because they are so vital to your business. We call them the four vital behaviors because they are what make you succeed. They are what make you change as a person. They are what help you like attract those people. They are what help you inspire people. They are what help you motivate people. So you guys, it's all about being back to the basics. A lot of things I focus on with coaches is I say, okay, you guys, and like for so long you're just a coach and you're trying to find a team. So you're trying to get a team, trying to build a team. Then you've got a team and then you start focusing completely on them. I'm like, until you are like, well, Melanie Mitro, she's 15 star. She's got a ginormous downline. She still spends 50% of her time on her own business and recruiting, building all the relationships of trust. She still spends 50% of her time on that. So you guys don't fall into that trap where you're focusing on your team. You know, like too many coaches fall into that trap where I say spend 80% of your time on your own business and recruiting and 20% of your time on your team. So many of my coaches flip that. And then their business just dwindles. So I'm like, it's so huge. The 80-20 rule is so huge. 80% of your time on your team, and you will find those people who want it just like you. You will find those runners. But if you're focusing so hard on your team, like set them up for success, you know, bring them in, set them up for success, but then let them fly. You know, Melanie Mitchell did a training where she says, I do the training, I do, we do, you do. So she brings them in and she does it for them. She's like, I do, and they watch. Then we do, they do it together, and then you do. All right? So you guys, I have coaches who, they're like, I was running everybody's challenge group, and this one coach has been with me for 2 years, and I've never let her out of the challenge group. And I'm like, you are preventing her from being a leader. I'm like, let her soar. I'm like, if she knows what she's doing, I'm like, let her go, let her soar. So you guys, that 80-20 rule, stick to it. So strong. All right. Run with the lily. I always say, be a lighthouse, not a tugboat. Those people who you are trying to like, if you see so much potential in them that they're just not willing to work and put in the work that's going to get them to their goals, don't waste your time. Like, don't waste your time on them. If they don't want it, then you can't make them. So you guys, what else do I have? Okay, one thing I wanted to make sure or tell you guys about is, okay, so many of my coaches, they're like, all right, Lacy, they're like, my goal is always to hit SC 10 by the 10th, and then I just kind of let off the gas. And I'm like, all right, you can't do that. I'm like, think about when you start something going. If you are starting, stopping, you're never going to be able to keep that momentum going. So I'm like, you guys, once you've reached your goal, like say for example, your goal is SC5 by the 5th, SC10 by the 10th, SC whatever. Once you reach that, pretend like you haven't reached it. You need to continually be reaching out every single day, building those relationships of trust, attracting those people, inviting those people, connecting with those people. When people say, oh, I just don't have anyone to reach out to. Yeah. I'm like, there is billions of people in the world. And when people say, Lacy, like everyone's just a Beachbody coach. Like everyone's already been touched. I'm like, nope. I'm like, Sydney, she's one of the girls in our office. She's 29. Until she came to work for Beachbody, she'd never even been offered, never even heard about it. And I'm like, holy smokes, she's like the prime target, you know? And I'm like, oh my heavens. And so you guys, recruiting, reaching SC, showing up every single day on social media, it's all so related. It's all, you've got to show up every single day in social media to be able to, you know, build those relationships with people, to connect with them, to be there. Like those people who you're bringing onto your team, you're going to find a lot of coaches who are like, I've watched you for an entire year. They never once liked anything. They never once commented on anything, but they watched you for an entire year. And because you showed up every single day, you built that relationship with them when you didn't even know it. You inspired them. You motivated them. You uplifted them with your posts. So you guys, that is so huge. Keep that door to your store open. Keep it open. Show up every single day. Okay, you guys, any questions that you guys have about anything? Sorry, that was long.
No, not at all. I feel like you shared so many valid points. And even though like this is not really like new to us, but at the same time, I feel like we tend to forget pieces of this, you know, like I'm sure that these coaches have heard this before, and I have, but to hear it then, you know, from you, from corporate, from other successful coaches, to know that like we're not alone, like everybody faces the same challenges. And you know, sometimes we just tend to forget little aspects of the business, which are not so little. They're really actually very important, and we can't forget, you know.
Yes.
So
it's so true, you guys. It's so true. Like I told you, that live power hour where they're like, that's what she's doing. And I'm like, yes. And they're like, are you serious? Like, yes.
yeah, absolutely.
It is.
And, you know, part of it too is that as coaches, we have to become the bosses of our own businesses, and we have to be able to, if we need information and resources, we have to look for that information and get it, because we have the same access to it. It's in the back office.
So true, you guys. I always say, I'm like, listen, I'm like, don't enable your coaches, empower them. So if they come to you for every little thing, that you're going to set them up like that forever. But I'm like, empower them. Don't enable them, empower them. Don't be that tugboat, like always following up saying, did you do this? Did you do this? Or answering every little question. Like they have exactly the same access that you do. And so, yeah, and those people you'll find who are more willing to like go and search out their answers on their own. They will learn so much better. They will be such a better leader. Like,
absolutely. I agree.
Mm-hmm.
We got to give them some tough love sometimes.
It's so true. It's so true. And I'm like, I was so coached. I'm like, listen, I'm like, set business hours. I say set business hours because
uh-oh, I don't know what that was.
I always tell coaches, you guys, I'm like, set business hours. I'm like, set business hours, because otherwise you might have coaches coming at you all day long. And if you're like giving them answers all day long, then they're never going to learn to like look for it on their own. But if you have it set business hours where like, hey, I'm available from this time to this time, most of the time they're like, oh, I'll just go find it myself. And then it teaches them to be that leader, because they don't want to wait until your business hours, you know. Onboard them correctly, you guys, set them up for success. Have them go through that transformation, whether it's, you know, it's physical, mental, spiritual, emotional, whatever. Like that transformation is so huge. Those challenge groups are so huge. 71% of coaches were challengers first. So you guys, invite to those challenge groups, get those people like having those successes, having those things, show up every single day. You've got a gold mine right there. There's, just like Carl said, there is so many people that need our help. They're out there. And if people always say, oh, I just don't want to reach out, I'm kind of nervous. I'm like, what if your coach didn't reach out to you? Like, where would you be? And they're always like, oh, yeah. So you guys think of that when you like, when you don't want to connect, when you don't want to invite, think of that. What if my coach didn't reach out to me? Where would you be? So many people are like, I don't even want to think about that. So yeah, you guys.
Very true. So does anyone have questions for Lacy? We have all of her attention. She's totally ours. We have to have a question. We're quiet. I guess it was such great information.
Can you guys hear me now? Because I have better signal.
Oh yeah, we can hear you.
Okay. I wanted to share something in terms of what you shared, Lacy, where you said, I do, we do, and you do. I think we have the main struggle in we do and I do, because, and I think I share that with you on the other calls where every week that I have with you guys, that's the problem. Like, a lot of people want to be like, when I do for them, they feel that when we do, the part where they have to do things at the same time, like they feel that they have to be hand-holded in order for them to move forward. And honestly, that's what never makes a good coach. Every single time I come across a coach that is too dependable, they leave it. They will end up quitting because they think that this is something easy to do. And they don't understand that it's a business. And if you don't focus on acquiring the business mindset of this whole thing, that's where you fall. They think that it's always going to be team effort. Yes, it's always going to be a team effort, but you have to focus on your own personal goals in order to make this work. So when you said, I do, we do, and you do, I said, this is the problem. I mean, most of us are struggling with this, where we feel frustrated when we give them everything for them to start, and they just feel like they have to be there with you, not alone. A lot of times has to be with the lack of belief and fear, but this is where I think a lot of us struggle a lot. And correct me if I'm wrong.
You guys, that personal development, like when coaches are too afraid, like fear is a big, huge thing. But I'm like, you know what? That personal development, it almost gives you power. It gives you power. And so focusing on it takes it back to those vital behaviors. Like it totally does. If you're doing those vital behaviors, like you are growing personally by yourself every single day. And yes, those coaches who just like have to be handheld for everything, that's probably how they're going to be the whole time. And you're right. Like when that little storm comes, they're just going to blow over. But yeah, that is like, people are just naturally followers, but there are leaders. And you will find them. You have to sift through a lot of people. You'll have to sift through a lot of people, but you'll find them.
Thank you, Lacy. Does anyone have any questions? Any more questions? I totally agree with the whole sifting. And I think, I used to be the type of person that I would think like people are just born natural leaders. And I think that during this, this whole, all these years that, this process for me, I've noticed that, no, not necessarily. Some people may have that kind of in them, like innate, but then there are others where you can develop them, help them kind of see that they have those strengths, and then help them kind of develop in those areas, and they can also become really good leaders.
Mm-hmm. So true. Mm-hmm. So true. So yeah, so you guys, it is the I do, we do, you do.
I love that.
So yeah.
I do struggle a little bit with that too, the you do part. So I think all of us have to work on that.
Yeah, it's so true. And it is. It's hard to let go, but I'm just like, set them up for success and then they'll fly. Mm-hmm. They will fly.
Absolutely.
I think the main issue is because we don't want to lose them, because you said, Lacy, you see the potential in them. So, and if you see that they are being consistent for 2-3 months, you are assuming that they're getting it. So the moment that they hit a wall and they're struggling, but you don't want to seem like you want to do everything for them, you end up literally doing so. So I think this is hard. Being a leader is hard. It is. It's not an easy job at all. And that has a lot to do with the personality as well. If someone that like you said, Denise, sometimes they don't believe and they like really shy, and you be like, oh, I don't think that person's going to be a leader. And then boom, if they start working on believing on themselves and personal development, They just boom. They just, not because people are what they call it, Charlene Johnson uses this word all the time, introverts, means that they're not going to be leaders. And I think we underestimate people who are introverts a lot.
Yeah.
Because of it.
Yeah. You guys, you'll bring in coaches who you're like, oh my gosh, they're going to be a rock star. They're going to be freaking amazing. And then they won't do anything. And then you'll bring in people that are like, yeah, probably not. And then they just blow you away. So I'm like, never, ever, ever prejudge somebody. Never, ever. And if those people who you bring on who like could literally be potential rock stars and are just like are such great potential, if they don't want it, you are wasting your time trying to make them want it, So they've got to want it for themselves. There's some people that you're just like, you have so much potential if you would just, just do these basic things. If you would just put in a little bit of effort, but you can't do it for them.
Mm-hmm.
But yes, developing leaders, you guys, if there's John Maxwell he's amazing at leadership. So if that is something that you're lacking, I'm like, read those books and don't just become full of knowledge. I'm like, knowledge is power, but where the real power comes from is when you put that knowledge into action. All right. So put that knowledge into action, and that's where the real power comes from.
Mm-hmm.
So Arnold Nakaha, he's really big about, huge on personal development, but he always says, what do you want to work on? What do you want to develop? He's like, then choose those books. He's like, then choose those books of whatever, and like apply what you're learning, what you're reading, what you're writing down.
So Lacy, if it was up to us or if it was up to me, I'd keep you on way longer. But so I have one more question. Like, what do you say to those coaches that are kind of stop and go in this business? Because I think what I've come across is that certain situations come up, life hits, distractions take place, and they become stop and goes. And then, a lot of them get frustrated. So what do you say about that?
I say, if you want it, if you have these goals and you want it, like, you will show up every single day, whether it's hard, whether it's easy, whether it sucks, whether it's great, like every single day you'll show up. So that stop and go, you just lose all that momentum. And when you have a coach that says, oh, you know what, I need to take a couple months off, step back for a minute. I'm like, oh man, it's like they lose all momentum. And you guys, I always say it's harder to revive the dead than to be born or whatever, So I'm like, those coaches, I'm like, darn it, when they say that, stop and go, that just sucks. Like, through the good times, through the bad times, like those coaches, when it gets tough, those coaches who stick it out, those are the coaches who will become successful. Yeah, like they show up no matter what, whether because crap is hitting the fan in a ton of coaches' lives. And you're just like, oh my heavens, you would never know, because they're showing up every single day. They're working through it. Like, it's awesome. And you guys, it'll help you work through those trials, work through that crap by showing up. Beachbody is amazing. It helps you. It helps that mind. That's the biggest asset. So yeah, so show up every single day, you guys. Push through those hard times. Like, that shows true leadership. Totally true leadership.
Absolutely. So even when times are dark, even when you don't want to, even when you want to show up on calls,
that's when you should the most.
I have those days all the time, and I show up. There's a lot of us here that do show up every day. We have to.
You do. You have to, whether you want to or not. Good times, bad times, rough times, crappy times, great times, like every single day. That is so important. Yeah. That shows true leadership.
And it's crazy how, like you said, like those times of, and there's so many quotes about that, those true times of like challenge, like how you come through, how you push through those challenges actually help build your character.
Yep.
And we may not realize it at that time, but if we just push through, even if we're just kind of blind about it and just push through, like it seriously just, it makes you so much stronger.
It really does. It totally does. And just like I said, you guys, that quote where it says, it's your life is 10% what happens to you, but 90% of how you react. Like, if you just shut down and you quit and you just, close yourself off again, that sucks, and you will never grow. Like, rise to the occasion, challenge that challenge, like rise up. You guys show up every single day.
Mm-hmm. Lacy, oh my God, I know I said just one question, but one more question. What do you feel about setting goals? Because I feel like we're scared to set goals.
Yes.
We're scared of
Oh,
not meeting them, and we're scared to advance to the next rank.
okay.
Very quickly.
Goal setting. Okay, yeah, because I got to be on the next call. Goal setting
yes.
is so huge, you guys. It's so huge. That's why in my new diamond training, I have everyone create a vision board if they haven't yet. But I say, okay, you guys, these are great goals. But I say it's the action-oriented goals that are going to get you that result-oriented goal. Like, oh my heavens. Just like I tell the story of Alice in Wonderland. I'm like, when Alice in Wonderland, when she's walking down that road and she gets to the crossing the road and Chester Cat is there, she said, should I go right or should I go left? And he says, well, where are you going? And she says, I don't know. And he says, then it doesn't matter if you go right, if you go left, if you don't know where you're going. And so you guys set those goals so you know where you're going, you know what you're pushing for. Like, it's so huge. Goal setting is so huge just to be able to push for something, but it's those action-oriented goals that are going to get you to those result-oriented goals. They're huge. You've got to always be pushing and striving for that next goal. Write it down. I know as cliche as it sounds, write it down. Write it down and reverse engineer it.
Mm-hmm.
All right?
Thank you so much, Lacy. I know you have to get to another call. I appreciate it.
You guys are awesome. Okay, guys.
You're awesome. Thank you.
I will see you guys later. Love working with you all. Thanks for having me come on.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.